Hi, good morning. This is Fred Henning from Out of Box Wealth. I hope you're having a blessed day and you and your family are doing well. Genothi Seyutan, know yourself, love and abundant blessings to you. And today I want to talk about something that's really cool when it comes to energy. And it's the statement or the philosophy or even the mindset: observation is power, judgment is weakness. And it's very enlightening. It's very freeing. It's very helpful to just take a moment to consider this phrase. Observation is power. Judgment is weakness. And it's the understanding is that when we start to recognize ourselves and our environment and the environment that we are manifesting around us, and we start to be consciously aware of cause and effect, and we remind ourselves to be observant, not judgmental. And it's very powerful, because when we are observant, maybe we could say like a scientist in an experiment is observing what happens when certain conditions are met. When we look at life that way as an observer, and we observe what is happening instead of judging it. The difference is when we judge, our judgment is typically closely connected to our paradigm. And our paradigm is basically the conclusions that we have come to, in our mind about life. And usually the conclusions that we have come to about life are some type of barrier between our becoming our own highest self, between becoming our own authentic self. And our paradigm is usually what is keeping us stuck where we are, because it's most usually linked to and controlled by limits. And so when we judge something, there can be a whole host of ideas that are connected to it. When we're in any type of situation and we have an emotional reaction that is negative, it's because we have judged that this thing is happening right now because of all the past or previous experiences that were negative, and that's what caused it. Or if we have a situation where maybe we judge a certain type of person, a certain type of action, a certain type of response, and then immediately we have a whole file of memory that comes up within us based on similar situations and similar conclusions that we have already come to in our mind. So judgment truly is weakness, because judgment is also limited. If we have come to a conclusion about something based on just even our own lifetime experience, which when we compare the lifetime experience of this lifetime as opposed to the timeline, to existence, to eternity, it's quite small. Our own lifetime really isn't long enough for us to come to many conclusions, because there are just so many different factors that come into life. There's so many different reasons why, especially when it comes to people around us, and we have judgments about them. But there's no way we can know everything about them. There's no way we can know everything that they're thinking. And even if we think we know something, or we know a way that they are thinking, even if that's true, many of us change our mind on a regular basis. Many of us change our mind from day to day or from minute to minute. So, we'll give you that one. Maybe you were right, but it's very possible that there has been a change since the last time you had this type of experience. So, observation is power. Observation is power. So simply by observing the things that are around us, simply by observing without having an emotional connection, without having a soulish or a feeling connection to the things that we're experiencing. And isn't that what we are almost influenced to do in our experience? And of course, we have a survival mechanism But if we are operating in survival mechanism, we're already operating in the lower chakras of survival. And that means that we are anticipating and expecting that we are going to be, or either we are automatically in a survival situation. But are we? Are we really in a survival situation? Are we in a situation where everything truly is okay? I mean, everything truly is okay. Now in this moment, everything truly is okay. And our inner being tells us that. That's the ongoing message. That's the ongoing feeling. That is the authentic self. And we can have a lot of ideas or a lot of memories. Maybe you watched a movie or you watched a show and it had a real dramatic experience in it, and you never had a certain type of fear or worry until you watched that show. And then you watch that show and now all of a sudden there's this worry or there's this fear inside of you. But it's not really you, it came from outside, it came from somewhere else. So is it true? Is it real? Well, no, it's not. It's just an idea that was placed in our mind. Another good example was when a family member comes down with an illness, comes down with any type of illness, especially the ones that are so heavily influenced as being genetic. Things that are just going to be handed down simply because of a genetic connection to someone in your family. And then what happens? Next thing you know, different people in the family are manifesting the same results simply because that idea was placed in your mind first. But before that idea came, did you have that same problem? Did you even have that same thought? Did you have that same worry? Did you have that same fear? Well, no, obviously not. It was created through the mind. And when you look at so many different things that are happening on Earth right now, Dr. Joe Dispenza is a wonderful, wonderful example. The type of healings that people are experiencing in his seminars and his meetings are virtually what most people would call miraculous. But when you have an understanding that, again, this is all a science, it's an understanding, it's what the ancients have communicated through the ages spiritually, and now we are understanding that it's simply the way that humans work, and we have these abilities. So if you want to start to Gnothi Seuton, if you want to start to know yourself and understand yourself, and if you want to start to be more empowered to be able to choose, there's a scripture that says, blessing or curse, you can choose. And so that understanding was given to us for a long time. It's not a new idea. It's been passed down from generation to generation. And so we really, truly can choose. And when you give yourself the power, when you give yourself the ability, when you give yourself the mindset and the understanding that observation is power, judgment is weakness, what you also do is you open up yourself to not be attached to any type of limit that is created by past experience. Because when you have a judgment, it tells you that the same thing is going to happen over and over again, and then that's what creates a paradigm. And then the paradigm locks us in to repetitive experience over and over and over again, day after day, minute after minute, moment after moment. But when we don't live in the realm of paradigm, when we don't live in the realm that is controlled by survival, by the lower chakras, when we are allowed to have heart coherence, and when our heart coherence, when it activates the sensory neurites, the brain cells that are in our heart, and that they send the signal, when they send the energy to our brain, and instead of our brain being operated by the reptilian brain, the reptile, the survivor, the survival, the lower chakras, when our energy flows from our heart through emotions that we choose, it activates the sensory neurites in our heart, the brain cells that are in our heart. They send the signal to our brain, and then we are functioning from the higher chakras, from the heart up, and we are out of survival. We are out of the survival mentality. We're out of the survival fear of what's going to go wrong next, and we are into the realm of creation. We are into the higher chakras and we are connected to creation. And when we are connected to the realm of creation and we recognize our authority and our power, and we remind ourselves then that we are operating in the realm of authority and power. We are our own personal prophet. We get to speak into our life the things that we want to happen. We are not surrendering ourselves to somebody else to prophesy into our lives and speak what they want or what they desire, or what they try to influence through us. We are our own prophet, and we have the power to prophesy that power into our own life. And when we recognize that observation is power, that when we observe the manifestations that are around us and we recognize where they came from, when we look at things from cause and effect understanding, and we look at things from the idea of having the freedom to be able to speak, to prophesy, to proclaim, to declare into our own life those things by choosing a heart-centered emotion and feeling first. And then through that feeling and through that emotion, observe what is around us and recognize that in loving, unconditional loving, non-judgmental connection to our source, to our true creative loving parent, to our true creative loving God, to our true loving creative parental source of existence, that through that unconditional loving source we are given as our inherent right to be able to speak and to prophesy, to declare into our own life that which we desire through our own authentic self. And through that, and through our own sense of being who we are and being connected to our own authentic self, we all have the desire to live in peace, love, abundance for absolutely everyone. And then that connection through everyone creates heaven on earth. It is what is given to us to be able to restore our earth back to the original garden paradise that it was in the beginning. And it is everyone's truest heart's desire to live forever lovingly and peacefully in a peaceful, forever loving environment where everyone has abundance and is able to experience and live their own true, authentic life. So by practicing observation is power, reminding ourselves that judgment is weakness, we can enable ourselves to live our true, authentic life and to radiate energy out of us to our surrounding environment that is only clean and clear, that is uplifting, upbuilding, and that supports life around us, just like Mother Earth does to absolutely everything that is connected to her. So love, peace, blessing, abundance, Gnothi Seuton, shalom to you and your family. Namaste.